Going through camp with, I don't want to say a challenger, but another kicker. It's been a while, obviously.
Yeah, I mean we've had other guys in camp, and sometimes it's kind of going back and forth, in every period where we're competing every time we step on the field. But I feel like my body of work right now. I'm just building towards the season. JJ's doing an awesome job. He's a great guy. He's been a good teammate. As he came in during the season last year with some of the COVID protocol stuff, and it's been good getting to know him and having a young guy to kind of push you every day.
Does your leg appreciate the fewer reps or fewer swings, or?
Well, as of right now, I'm getting the reps that I need, and I feel like I've been hitting about the same amount, but it's been a good steady build up. Coach is doing a good job of taking care of the vets, the guys that have been around a long time, and it's kind of weird now, going into year 15. It's it's got to be smart with every time I take the field and make sure that I'm getting quality reps over quantity.
As the player rep, right? You're still a player rep.
Yes.
Is there anything that you have done or feel like you need to do as far as getting guys to get vaccinated and just to make life easier for you guys around here, or is that not anything to do with that part of the job?
Yeah, I'm not involved in that necessarily. It's more informative, just giving the information for what kind of our protocols look like if you're vaccinated, what they look like if you're unvaccinated, and and kind of going from there. I think everyone has the information they need to make an informative choice, whether they want to get the vaccine or not. So I think as of right now, guys are doing a great job of being smart away from the facility and doing what they need to inside the building to keep each other safe.
How much communication are you still having with the PA? Because I know a week or so ago they suggested going back to the testing more regularly. Is that something that you are involved in?
Not like those day-to-day conversations, but we do have rep meetings probably every couple weeks. And obviously, since I've taken over as the full-time rep, it looked like I was taking over during labor peace, and then COVID hit, and it feels like I've been on way more calls than what is the norm. And give those guys credit, and the NFL and the PA of trying to work together to find like the best solution for getting all the games in. I mean, the fact that we had a season last year and didn't have any games canceled. I know there were a few that were a little messed up, but the fact that we didn't have any games missed was pretty impressive.
Hey, Mace, we talk so often with Aaron about his process over the 15 years, how it's changed in the offseason. I'm curious with you, how do you go about, whether it's just the dieting side of it, the strength and conditioning, how has that changed over time, or what's sort of the emphasis for you now in year 15?
Yeah, I have a lot more kids. Kids, keep me busy, and it's nice. Just kind of my process is I push it back a little bit further. It's take that time after the season, get the body healthy if need be. Just kind of get the mind refreshed. Make sure I spend good quality time with friends and family, and then just that build up. It's less kind of strenuous in that April, May time period, and making sure that I'm peaking at the right moment. So there were years where you'd come into training camp and it's like, man, I feel ready for that season to start, and you realize you have 5-6 weeks until that first kickoff, and it needs to be a steady climb. So I feel like over the last 4, 5, 6 years, I've done a much better job of just really steadily building that up, and by week 1, I'm ready to roll.
I know you're a 1 year at a time kind of guy, obviously, but how much longer do you think you can do this, or do you want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I'm excited to be entering year 15 and pursuing another championship. And for me, it's trying to do it at a high level as long as I possibly can. So as long as my mind and my body and I get excited to come in this building, I'm not going to call it quits. So I'm going to just keep preparing, keep trying to be the best version of me every time I come out here. And it's fun. These young guys, it's crazy now. The guys coming straight out of college, and they. 15 years, they were little kids whenever I started doing this. So getting that energy, I could feel in the spring, it was like, all right, let's get back into this. And then you get back in this building, and just the vibe and that energy from these young guys just fills me back up, and it gets me ready to go again.
Mason, what's
On
this?
year 15, you're tying Braden Nitschke for the longest tenured non-quarterback player in franchise history. You know, looking at your career, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it was kind of a goal to get to a point like this and have longevity. I was fortunate enough whenever I was in high school to get to know Matt Stover a little bit, and his longevity was excellent, and he just kind of that steadiness, teaching me about being consistent on and off the field, just being good in the locker room, being that guy that people can depend on, and so that longevity is more important than just the stats and what it's meant to, on the field, but also my teammates and in this organization. So it's an honor to be able to say that I've worn the green and gold for this long, and I hope to do it as long as I possibly can.
Along those lines, Mason, you are 20th in NFL history in scoring. You'll probably be 14th by the end of the year. If you kick 3 years, you'll be top 10. Does any of that stuff matter to you?
Those are definitely stats as I once I'm done. Whenever it's all said and done, I'll kind of look and see where I kind of end up. But last year I remember kind of breaking into some different top spots, and it's cool. The longer you do it, it's like I'd lie if it was like it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean that kind of stuff is awesome, and it's a credit to Aaron and Brett before him and the guys that on the offense and the defensive side of the ball that allow me to go out there and finish scoring drives and kick field goals. It's I couldn't do it without those guys, and it means a lot to me.
Mason, I think it's 246 straight games you've played. What's the secret? I mean, I understand it's not as physically demanding of a position, but how do you go that long without like a pull?
Sometimes feels physically demanding.
Oh yeah, I apologize.
No, I'm just kidding.
How do you go that long without like a pulled hamstring? What do you do to keep your body in shape? Like
there's always it's tweaks. There's different things. It's like you wake up some days and it's like, all right, I gotta really overcome just tightness, soreness, whatever. And I think it's just a mentality of getting up every day, doing those little things, having a process. So I kind of hit my routine. I come in. If I need to roll out, I'll roll out for an hour. It's like you just do what you need to do to be prepared and be available. So that's kind of always been my mantra, is just being available. I'm gonna show up every day, be the same guy every day, and go out there and perform at a high level.
Your field goal accuracy is better than it's ever been these last couple years. What's caused the uptick, do you think? Not that you haven't been effective before, but the last 2 years, 90%, 100%.
I wish I could bottle up a secret for you and just kind of have that harness. But I do think sometimes it's just simplifying things. My process is experience over time. It's just I've learned so much, and I'm not afraid to learn from positives and learn from all the negatives that have happened in my career. And so if I choose to avoid things and not learn from moments, then I'm not growing. So I think I've grown a lot over my career. I've chosen to see a missed kick or missed opportunity as a learning and a growing moment, and all those things add up. And I think right now I'm just I'm trying to find a groove where I go out there every day, I simplify it, I work really hard, and make sure that I show up every day to work to be the best version of me.
Hey Mason, a bunch of us were here when you were drafted in 07, right?
Yeah.
So we've watched your whole career. I was asking Mo Drayton about this yesterday, though. A lot of specialists, they knock around for a few years, right? It takes them a while to find. And when you're a drafted guy, you were good right away. I'm wondering though, for JK, some of those growing pains would have happened where he wasn't on a roster, but because he was drafted, the expectations come with it. How long did you think it really took you to kind of feel like you knew what you were doing, you had the process you wanted, and how have you tried to help JK through some of his inconsistency over the first couple of years?
Well, JK's done a lot of really good things, and he's been a great holder for me. And last year we had some unfortunate returns against us. I mean, his hang time and I think his gross punting was one of the best in his career. So he's constantly just working on his craft as well. And I do think I think year 4 is like kind of a big, transition year, and there's obviously expectations every year we step on the field. But watching JK out there, the way he's working, the questions he asks, I mean, he's very astute. He always wants to learn and grow as well. So you can see that, in young guys, and the ones that are willing to put in that time and that effort to get better, and not just being a closed book like I have this figured out. This is how I do things. And then it's ultimately, we talk about a lot, is owning your craft. You have to just own what you do. It's like we get a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff telling us what we did well, what we didn't do, right. But you have to have conviction and go out there and own your craft every day. And I think he's learning that. And it's it does take experience and time. But yeah, I think my first 4 years, it was there was a learning process. I was fortunate enough. I kicked some big kicks. We won a Super Bowl. And it was I just kind of kept grinding through it all. So for me personally, I've had, in my mind, like 3 separate careers. It's like year 1 through 4, and then you kind of have that the middle part. There was some figuring out time, and then kind of this back end where just kind of find that groove and find how you're going to show up every day. And again, I like to say owning your craft. You have to really have conviction in it.
Take 2 more in here and then
What,
we'll go to
what
Zoom.
kind of difference have you seen so far in your meetings, coverages, teaching, and Coach Mo Drayton?
Mo brings an energy that is infectious. I mean, he's just he brings it every day. He's been in that space, kind of coaching guys, probably more individually at times, but you getting to know his kind of energy and vibe is over these last few years. It's awesome seeing him in that head role and just being able to feed that into guys every day. So I think as of right now, it's like we're in training camp. We're really getting into like all the technical basics of routine and doing the fundamentals really well. So if you've seen it practice, a lot of drill work, a lot of things to get guys knowing exactly what's expected in a fundamental stance or situation, and then we'll roll into more of the team stuff towards, I think, as we progress forward. So I love that. I love seeing guys just really dialing into the fundamentals, and I think Mo's going to really push that and be really tight into the fundamental aspect of things. And then as we roll into the team stuff, you just hope guys mesh, and that's as special teams, that's the hardest thing, is you have guys on offense, defense, different position groups all coming together and having to work in unison. So Mo's a great leader, and he's doing a good job in that space.
Mason, I think we've all asked the question that Spoff asked you about the timeline, and we've all gotten a similar answer from you over the last several years.
Yeah.
Do you and Molly, though, talk about, like Aaron has said he wants to play 5 to 7 more years, right? Do you have, even if you're not sharing it with us, do you guys have kind of an idea of how long? Because I remember talking about this with you when it was the kicker who just retired, Vinatieri, and you were kind of looking at his career.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, 48 would be pretty cool. Man, that would. It seems like that's just that's a whole nother career, to think that far out. So for me, it's I want to play out this contract, and then just kind of evaluate it. We do have kids. We have things that we talk about and think about. Molly probably. I'm more of a analytical process, like doing the stuff. So like Molly gets a little tired of me, just trying to figure out plans, and stuff like that. So we love Green Bay and we love being here. And like our plan right now is to just live it to the fullest. I've taken up ice fishing more and doing more, winter activities as we stay here through the off season every year, and just really making it home and just seeing where that takes us.
Sarah, if you want to go ahead to the Zoom question.
Yep, just one, Ryan Wood.
Hey Mason, going back to what Mo had to say about JK yesterday, he said something I'd never considered before, which is that there's actually a developmental transition time for specialists from college to the NFL. He was talking more about punting, but I'm curious from your perspective as a kicker, was there anything that you had to transition to at this level that was maybe different in any way from what you experienced in college?
Well, I mean, like subtle things are like the ball is different. Hash marks are different, kind of some of your angles, things like that. You have a limited amount of time from the end of college season until you come into mini camps and training camp for the NFL to work all those things. So it's simple for that, for kickers, that's that's kind of a transition thing that you have to figure out. I definitely think snappers are a position that takes a little time to kind of get used to, the protections and the movements and all the stuff that all the nuances that come into that position. So if you see it across the NFL, a lot of young guys, third, fourth year, start coming into their own. If they're gonna make it, those are the years that are super important. And I think our guys are dedicated to working hard. Again, I said it earlier, owning their craft, making sure that they know exactly what they want to do and what they want to accomplish every time. And I've enjoyed working with JK and Hunter. Just they've given me a kind of a new life here the last few years of just the young guys in the room, being able to kind of work and mold and feed advice into them is kind of a new role for me. And it's again, like I said, given me a different energy than I've had over the previous 12 years or so.